Sup everyone, welcome back to another video, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the temporary presidents meme that I've been making. I had a lot of fun making them, and I know you guys, some of you guys have enjoyed watching them, but today in this video we're going to be going back to our roots a little bit, talking about what's coming up in the near future. Now, before everybody starts kind of spamming physical carry team comp showcases with Mika, I just want to tell you guys a bit about what the hell is going on with physical carry. Now, you guys might not care. You might be like, I don't care. I don't play physical carry. I don't plan on playing physical carry. Or you guys might be like, I don't care what you say. I'm still playing physical carry. Physical carry is awesome, and I want to play physical carry. Now, here's the interesting thing, right? In theory, most characters, except like catalyst characters, can be played as physical characters because everybody does physical carry to some degree. Now, this is one of those things that is just inherent in most characters' kits, and I'm sure a lot of people or content creators are going to leverage certain aspects of certain characters' kits to build Mika into some sort of off-meta team. Now, this could be interesting, but my point in this video is that physical compositions just aren't very fleshed out. At least even if they were fleshed out, they're not very exciting. The reason for that is when we look at Genshin Impact as a game, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm still on the screen. We got to take a look at a character like Eula, right? We look at a character like Eula. She has great character design. Her kit, in theory, is very interesting. However, a couple key things are missing to make her feel truly spectacular. And I mean, apart from the fact that her elemental skill and her burst skill kind of do the same things, when it comes to creativity, so you can't say a character such as Eula, design-wise, is as complex and intricate as, let's say, some of the Dendro characters. Or I'll be honest, even Nilou feels like has a more interesting mechanic that you can synergize with certain characters. And that's where I go back to, right? Synergy. Eula has close to no synergy, and that could be also an inherent issue with other physical carries. For a game that is designed mostly around their reaction system, because let's be honest, playing Genshin without reactions can at times become extremely monotonous, and that's why we have these teams called mono teams, right? Monotonous, mono. They're teams essentially that are not focused around reactions, but just tunneled solely for raw elemental damage. Now oftentimes these team cons all have dedicated supports, right? We got Ito, Goro, we got Raiden Shogun, we got Tsara, we got Ayaka, and of course we have Shinhe, and I'm sure in the future there will be more that comes out. And right now we're currently at the point where we have Eula and Mika. Oh, by the way, we also have Faruzan, right? So that's the most recent one that came out prior to Mika. It's no surprise that Hoyoverse is starting to flesh out these aspects of the game, and I'm not really here to tell you what to do or what not to do, but I'm just saying that when it comes to physical carry, there lacks a certain diversity of rosters and characters for this to work as well as it did for some of the other comps. But you guys might be saying, Walrus, not really true, because if you look at Ito and Goro, who else is really going to pilot Goro the way Ito has, right? Who's going to take advantage of that kind of raw damage? And you're right, there's not other on-field dedicated 5-star geo carries that can leverage that kind of kit. However, we still have characters like Ningguang, we still have characters like Noelle who can benefit from this. So it's not like, and also geo is really kind of in a similar position with physical carries because of the lack of reactions. And this basically brings me back to my point, which is when a system in the game exists solely by itself without like a crutch to lean on, such as a reaction system, this type of playstyle becomes too heavily reliant on the character's kit. So for example, a character like Nilou, if you just look at her kit, it is incredibly bland. You press E 3 times, you use her burst, and she just does like a cool pose and it splashes water around. But what makes Nilou enjoyable, fun? It's a reaction. It's a crutch that she leans on. When you look at characters like Ito, you can say, oh well, his playstyle is fun. I love, the way he unga boongas through all the content, and I just find that incredibly satisfying to play. And it has to be that way because Ito has little to nothing to fall back on. What you're gonna say? Oh, I play Ito for Crystallize. Doesn't work, right? At least not now. Maybe in the future, Crystallize can be developed into a proper functional reaction. But at least Geo has that. Geo has Crystallized to fall back on. So if EroticWalruss choose to develop that. What does physical carry have? Now you guys are like, Walrus, what about Superconduct? What about Superconduct? The nature of Superconduct is to apply debuff to the enemies and to shred their physical resistance. Inherently, there's nothing special about it. There's nothing exciting. There's really no way to outplay enemies. There's really no over-the-top synergies. There's no complexity. There's no depth to it. It's a one-dimensional reaction. I mean, you compare something like Superconduct to something like Quicken, Spread. How are these even comparable? Which leads me to wonder, is there a plan to overhaul Superconduct? Now, I'm not saying there has to be. I personally am completely fine with Superconduct staying the way it is, but that means the onus will be then put onto all the physical carries to pull their weight, to perform, to do damage, to be interesting, to be engaging, to be ever-changing. Then the question becomes, can EroticWalruss nail such a character design without over-tuning it? Now, when it comes to a character like Eula, she probably has the highest single burst damage in the game. I don't know off the top of my head another character who can hit harder in a single strike. Maybe Hu Tao C6, but I still don't think Hu Tao C6 and rival Eula, considering all buffs are the same. Yet she is heavily underutilized. Why is that? In my honest opinion, it's because her kit is incredibly boring. It has very little nuance to it. In fact, the only amount of nuance Eula's kit has is seen as annoying, right? People find it annoying to deal with. People don't like rerunning Abyss Chambers over and over again, fishing for that crit, or in a situation where, oh my goodness, it crit, but oh, I missed one single mob in Abyss 12 that is level 90 or 100, and Eula's my only character. You're gonna like auto attack that thing to death? No, that's not gonna work. Her kit has so much risk put towards her burst skill, so much emphasis in that you mess that up, you gotta redo, you gotta retry. So you just gotta keep fishing, keep hoping, and it's not fun. It's not really skill based, in my opinion. You guys can argue, oh well, it is a skill issue. You gotta make sure you're always standing in the perfect position that your burst can reach as many enemies as possible, as well as canceling your burst earlier. These are all like knowledge of the game after playing the game. Yeah, but these aren't things that most players want to focus their attention on, at least the ones that I've spoken to. Why has Eula slowly fell off from players' radars? Why do people want to pull her less and less? Why do even like speedrunners use her less and less? There are just better options that are less hassle, right? And I have a Eula main lined up for an interview, and even the Eula main themselves told me, you know, Walrus, I'm not really so much of a Eula main anymore. I'm now a Nilou main. So yeah, Nilou, right? Nilou is even more interesting and engaging than a character such as Eula. Would you say Nilou's kit is more interesting and engaging? Well, I would give one thing for Nilou is that she's a newer character, but apart from that, her super bloom mechanic to some people can be extremely satisfying to play, right? And Eula in the current state of Genshin is really a relic of the past, and no amount of Mikas and additional supports to try to buff her up to make her do more damage or make her feel more fluent is going to help her if the fundamental kit doesn't work. You take 0, you times it by infinity, it's still 0. Gotta work on the fundamentals. It's very difficult to save or salvage a character such as Eula when it gets to the point where people just kind of fall out of love with her, and they get tired of having to keep fishing for it, right? That's why I kept saying certain fixes to Eula's kit, or if Eula were released in another way, all of this could have been avoided. Let's say if her burst skill applied some sort of sickness on enemies, so meaning you see that first strike, if it applied a sickness on all enemies that have been hit, and then you just hit, you stack it up like normal, and once the timer of the burst skill finishes, everybody who is marked by the sigil takes the damage, right? You guys might be thinking like, Walrus, that's so broken. It's not broken, because you still have to land that first strike on all the enemies, right? But this takes a lot of pressure away from being like, oh, I gotta first use my burst, then stack it up, waste all that time, and then get the burst. Whereas if you hit your burst, oh, I missed one guy, well, rerun the chamber, right? It saves you a little bit more time and effort and sanity. And there are certain aspects of your kit that I've also talked about that could be changed, but this is all just like useless There's useless talking about this. It's never going to happen. But this is why I think it's very important. If you're watching this video, you want to play physical carries and you're interested in either maining Eula or a future physical carry, you have to be very careful. You have to fully understand the character's kits and playstyle, because you need to understand if this character is going to last for you. A character such as Eula, in a year, 2 years, nothing has changed at all. And people have only slowly fallen out of love because their kit has not withstood the test of time. It's not interesting, it's not engaging, it's not ever changing. It's just the same old thing. Go crit fishing. That's it. If you crit, wow, big PP damage. If you don't crit, well, try again. If you crit, you didn't hit all the enemies, try again. And that's it. And that's all I wanted to say. I think physical carries really needs to step up from HoYoVersus side. And while I know a lot of you guys still love and support Eula, I really hope Mika can push her up a little bit in terms of usage and pull rate. I think it'll be really smart for HoYoVersus to do a Eula rerun in the next couple of months and see how that goes. And maybe, just maybe, they'll even release a new physical carry. Alright? So until then, I'll urge you all to stay safe. Peace, peace. Bye bye.